So today's meal is a stir fry. I didn't put the nuts on mine, but James will like it with the nuts, I know. So I made sure I put them on his. So that's our deck dinner, 1:55, January 28th. And let's see how it is. I put it on a bed of quinoa. It's good. It's mostly stir fry. Not very much quinoa. I wondered if it would work because I cooked the quinoa with the bay leaf, but it tastes good together, so that's great. Anyway, I used tamari for it so that it would stay gluten-free. So good. I just want to eat rather than tell you about this. Canadian Professional Engineering and Geoscience, Practice and Ethics by Gordon C. Andrews. Page 3. In its natural state, bitumen oil sands is only suitable for paving roads. Creating oil from bitumen is expensive and complicated. Bitumen's carbon to hydrogen ratio is too high compared to conventional crude oil, so it requires special processing. 8. Oil and gas are Canada's most valuable natural resources. Gold and other precious metals. Most gold found in Ontario. The Sudbury Basin in Ontario is the world's second largest impact crater in the world. Second largest impact crater created by a comet that collided with Earth 1.85 billion years ago. Current reserves of 1.7 billion tons of nickel, copper, cobalt, platinum, palladium,
I think so.
okay, gold and silver are 2007 estimates. Gold production generated 3.36 billion in 2009. 90% of it comes from hard rock, underground, or open-pit gold mines. The rest is a byproduct of other mining operations. China was the largest producer in 2009 to... they did 300 tons, 12.8% of the global total. Canada produced 4.2% of the global total. Canada, Kazakhstan, and Australia are the top 3 producers of uranium. The richest uranium ore body is the Cigar Lake deposit in the Athabasca Basin near Great Slave Lake in northern Saskatchewan. This deposit was discovered in 1981. It's believed to be the richest uranium deposit in the world. Geological reserves of 103,000 tons of uranium oxide. It's non-carbon emitting. The energy potential of Saskatchewan's uranium reserves is approximately equivalent to 4 billion tons of coal or 18 billion barrels of oil, 4 times the energy in all Canadian oil reserves besides oil sand. The uranium should last 20 to 30 years based on current extraction rates. 9. The Detox diamond mine is Canada's largest. The largest diamond mines are all located about 200 to 300 kilometers northeast of Yellowknife in Northwest Territories. 10. Found when looking for kimberlite pipes of volcanic rock in which diamonds are found. In 2011, the Detox mine produced 6.7 million carats. The Ekati mine produced 3 million carats. The government, HRSDC, sponsors a free job placement website. I wrote it down, but I'm not going to try to read that. 33. In some countries, engineers needn't be licensed. 35. Brownfields are contaminated properties. Canada has an estimated 30,000 brownfields, former gas stations, toxic storage dumps, or abandoned mines. 174. Industrial designs. Protected under Canada's Industrial Design Act only. The owner of a registered industrial design has the right to make, use, or sell, rent the design. Copyright typically receives a maximum of 50 years from date of creation. Patents, owner of patents, invention has the right to make, manufacture, use, or sell the invention for a period of 20 years from the date of patent application. Others can be taken to court if they make, use, sell the invention in that time period. Trademarks. page 176. Registration gives the right to use the trademark for 15 years. Unlike other forms of intellectual property, trademarks can be renewed indefinitely. Selling goods with a counterfeit trademark is illegal. 193. Discrimination may not always be obvious, and if an employer demands 10 years experience in Canada, this would discriminate against recent, I put graduates, but no, that's not what I meant, immigrants. 197. Women are the majority in the Canadian university student population, but they are still underrepresented in professional engineering and geoscience. 2005. Epistemology is the study of knowledge itself. Metaphysics is the study of basic ideas such as existence, appearance, reality, and determinism. Deontology refers to duty-based ethical systems. Kant. 228. Codes of ethic typically forbid statements that maliciously injure the reputation or business of another professional. However, it is this an infringement on free speech? 252. Mills utility. Oh, I won't read that part. It's just boring. 305. Okay. Engineers and geoscientists are bound by a code of ethics to protect the public welfare, which includes our environment. 335. Coal-fired power is associated with air pollution, so nuclear seems better. Some don't agree. The formation of NOx, the nitrous oxide, the whatever, lots of them, is the result of high combustion temperatures, principally for motor vehicles, which in industrial urban areas account for 50 to 60% of the atmospheric NOx. Walkerton, Ontario, in May 2000, E. coli from a local pig farm leaked into water supply. 7 people died. Over 2,300 became ill. Inquiry found staff of public utilities lacked training and expertise to run the water system safely. Many of our beaches must be closed to swimmers because of high bacteria and fecal content in water. 340. In 1800, 1 billion people. 1930, 2 billion plus. 1960, 3 billion. 1975, 4 billion. 1987, 5 billion. 2005, 6.5 billion people. UN population predicts 2075 peak at 9.22 billion.
It's now like 11.2. That's the UN.
So they've changed it since this book was published.
Yeah.
Okay. 342. Love Canal, New York, dioxin. Olin Corp and Hooker Chemical Corp used it to bury their chemicals waste from 1943 to 1953. 18,000 plus tons of chemical waste were buried there, and the land was filled in flat. In 1953, Hooker Chemical sold the land to Niagara Falls Board of Education for $1. Hooker clearly told them about the chemical dump. The board sold the land for real estate development, which Hooker protested due to the chemicals. 343. In 1976, after heavy rain, the public noticed the smell. Pets died, homes reeked, children got chemical burns, miscarriages and birth defects occurred, and cancer occurred. One 1978 government study over 80 chemicals. The chemical air pollution was 250 to 5,000 times established safe levels. 30% rate of miscarriage. 2 of 17 pregnant in 1978 gave birth to normal children. Residents demanded further government testing. High levels of genetic damage in neighboring residents. Area declared a disaster area by U.S. President. 710 families relocated. Chemical waste evacuated for treatment. Proper disposal cost was U.S. $250 million. The agreement to transfer land contained a clause that protected Hooker against future liability claims, but chemical industry spokespeople ridiculed the residents as hypochondriacs. I don't know what word I put there.
Medicine?
It doesn't matter. It led to stricter laws and severe penalties for improper disposal of waste. Anyway. 344. Minamata Bay, Japan. Mercury poisoning.
The Furor over the Love Canal.
Okay. Chizo Company, nitrogen fertilizer company, began producing acetaldehyde in 1932. Mercury was required as a catalyst in the process to produce things such as vinyl chloride. During the production process, a portion of liquid mercury washed into Minamata Bay with the wastewater. Microbes converted it to organic mercury, methyl or carbon-based. Shellfish absorb organic mercury. Mammals don't excrete mercury, so it becomes concentrated as it moves up the food chain. Medical director associated with Chizo was concerned in 1956. Tests on cats. They behaved strangely. Supervisors at Chizo ordered him to stop tests and forbade him from reporting findings to local health authorities. 1959, investigation began. By 1962, they were certain organic mercury was causing the problem, and source was Chizo. Estimated 2,900 people had contracted Minamata disease. The lawsuits are still not settled. 345, Bhopal, India, methyl isocyanate. Union Carbide plant. Poison gas cloud killed thousands of people up to 6 kilometers away while they slept. 3,000 to 12,000 people died. 30,000 more suffered permanent injuries, 20,000 temporary injuries, 150,000 had minor injuries. Some human rights orgs say numbers are higher. Union Carbide made pesticides, U.S. company. They hired a consulting engineer who found that gas emission wasn't due to inadequate or non-existent safety measures, but was due to sabotage. They believed that an unknown plant employee deliberately added water to the storage tank to ruin the methyl isocyanate. The Indian government charged the company management with negligence, brought murder charges against its chief executive, and demanded U.S. $3.3 billion to settle victims' claims. In 1989, they settled for $470 million U.S., conditional of dropping the criminal charges. New Indian government disallowed this claim and sought to reinstate criminal charges. Litigation continues. 347, Sudbury, Ontario, sulfur dioxide. Canada's the world's second largest producer of nickel. Main source near Sudbury. Sulfur ore needs to be smelted. Burning removes sulfur and converts ore to nickel oxide, which can be reduced to pure nickel. Emitted a toxic cloud of sulfur dioxide, created acid rain. 1982, federal government banned use of open roasts. Enclosed is still permitted. Taller smokestacks reduced concentration by spreading pollution over wider area. Largest super stack at Sudbury's Copper Cliff mine in 1972, 1,247 feet high. Lakes devoid of fish, only hardiest birds survived. 10,000 hectares were limed, fertilized, and seeded. Fukushima tsunami, earthquake and nuclear disaster, 2011, March 11. Magnitude 9 earthquake, 180 kilometers from Fukushima. Seawater flooded 3 of 6 nuclear reactors and destroyed electrical equipment. Meltdown occurred. 19,000 killed in tsunami, 6,135 injured, 128,931 dwellings destroyed 2 years after disaster. 315,196 people were still living in temporary housing. 362. Within next decade, oil production will peak. Scarcity will drive oil prices up. 371. Industrial CO2 emissions increased by 65% from 1971 to 2004. Projections for industrial CO2 emissions for 2030 are a further increase of 40% over 2004. In 2005, agriculture accounted for an estimated 10 to 12% of global anthropogenic emissions of greenhouse gases, mainly methane and nitrous oxide. Annual ag emissions of N2O are projected to increase by about 35 to 60% and CH4 emissions by 60% in 2030. Carbon sequestration, increased organic material in soil, can reduce emissions. China's population is 1.3 billion people. One-child policy, government paid health care for child, otherwise parents paid full shot. Under policy, birth rate reduced to 1.2% in 1981. By 1991, it rose to 1.4%. Parents send unwanted children to orphanage. To obtain a license to practice engineering or geoscience in Canada, every applicant must write a professional practice exam. And they give examples in here and stuff like that. This is a great book. If you're thinking of, if you're a woman especially, and you're like, maybe I want to go into geoscience, or, yeah, you do. Because apparently there's not enough women in it. So it would be a good move. And this would be a great book to read. It was enjoyable even for me. And I'm not so much into this sort of thing. So I would totally recommend this very much. Now, we did watch a couple shows that I guess I'll talk about. We watched Crime Scene Investigation. Was it season 12, I think?
I don't know.
Hmm.
You think it'd be higher? Is this
I don't know.
current?
But I was surprised Catherine quit.
Like, what's going on there?
Mm-hmm.
They should have wrapped the show up.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't after Grissom quit, so.
No, and I didn't tell James the bad news, but his favorite.
No.
Yes.
He's gone now?
He's gone. He left.
What's going on here?
Mm.
Maybe they told him you're getting a little overweight here, buddy.
Mm.
Diet or leave.
So I enjoyed that. I mean, one of the murders, it was not believable. It was a guy had gotten an air compressor thing or whatever, and he got it stuck under his skin and it blowed his skin off his body or something. Like, that's just not even believable. You just take that out of there. And, you know, it might be an emergency room trip. I don't doubt that. But death, I'm thinking no.
Anyway, sounds as though they're running short of plots.
But there was one where the guy got suffocated by spray foam insulation. Somebody stuffed that in there. I believe that could happen.
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so long as they got the wacky plots and Georgia Fox,
Yeah.
then
Still have her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
well, Brass. You know,
Mm-hmm.
even more than Georgia Fox. So long as they got Brass, that
Yeah, it
show
should be
is
fine.
rolling. It's
Mhm.
it's a happening show.
Yeah. We've spent a lot of time watching that show over the years.
Even if out of the corner of our eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to admit I don't pay very close attention to it.
And
But it's great to read while watching, or
Yeah.
great to watch while reading this. So. Mm-mm. Pretty good stir fry today.
I'm liking it a lot. Look at this.
I'm usually not a fan of bamboo shoots, but I guess I put
They're working out
enough
in
of
this
other
thing.
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, it works.
Yeah, I'm usually not a huge fan.
Mhm.
I don't mind them. You're not like turnips.
Yeah. Anyway, what else? What other show did we watch? Oh yeah, the New Girl. I think it was season 3.
Did I stay awake during that?
Mm,
I don't know if it's even registering.
that's that show we hate.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
with the woman who looks good in the glasses?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that amazing? They blew it with that. I mean,
I
she's
know
kind of
she's
funny.
adorable, but
And actually, Sinbad, or whatever his name is, he's kind of funny.
mm-hmm.
And that guy who played his
Well,
partner
there's
in
a
that
lot of
cop show is
quality
kind of funny.
actors that show up in that, but
But together, the ensemble stuff,
don't know,
it's
it's just
directing
bad.
and writing. It's
yeah, it's terrible.
Wow.
Like, frankly, it's offensive. I mean, the one guy is a successful writer, and he's an idiot. And
how dumb do they think writers are? Oh,
no,
they're writers themselves. The guy who's writing the whole thing.
maybe.
Hmm.
And the cute girl, she's a teacher, but boy, she's not very bright either. I mean, nobody in the show is. The guy who plays Winston, he has a smile like Eddie Murphy, and I want to like him. But I
Well,
don't.
he's a funny guy too.
Yeah, but
on
he's
his
such
own.
a letdown. Because he
Mhm.
sort of reminds you of Eddie Murphy, you go,
Oh, he's
yeah,
not as
but he's
funny as
not,
Eddie. No,
right?
well, who
And
is?
so that makes you like him even less.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
And plus, whoever came up with the name New Girl for the title, I mean, she's not a new girl even by season 3. That works only for the first episode.
Could be.
Yeah.
And funny.
So yeah, I don't like that show at all.
Yeah.
It's just bad. Everything about it's bad.
Yeah, it's just hyper. It's just too many jokes.
Mm.
Too many flat jokes just
Mhm.
slammed together. I think they realize the jokes are flat and they're trying to just throw so many at you. Something's got to stick.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm freezing. I'm going in.
Okay.